Hello, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Midlife Laughter with Pastor Lisa Potter. Join Lisa as she brings a bit of humor and a lot of God to all that life tries to bring our way. Lisa and her husband John are co-pastors of Canvas Church in Birmingham, Alabama. If you would like prayer or general information about this podcast, please email us at midlife.laughter@gmail.com. And for more information on Canvas Church, please visit canvasbhm.com. And now, let's hear from Lisa as she shares from her heart.
Hello, everyone. It's Lisa with Midlife Laughter. Welcome back and happy 2020.
Happy 2020, everyone.
It's been since last year since I saw all of you, and I've aged a smidge. But you see, I've got two guests with me tonight. I'm super pumped about this. They don't look anything like me, but they are my daughters.
Yes.
This is Barrett.
Hello.
And this is Kelsey.
15 months apart, yes.
Yes, because John and I were dumb and dumber.
I was a mistake, I will admit.
She was not. It was a shock, I will say that.
Barrett was the only planned
I was
one.
the only planned child,
So that's
which
okay.
just says so much about me and my personality.
I
And
have heard
that comes out daily, that
I
she
have
was the
heard
only planned one.
that mom and dad did not speak to each other for 2 weeks
2 weeks.
after they found out they were having me. So
we were
it's
blessed.
They needed to debrief.
okay.
Clearly, we needed a reset, but we're thrilled now. 22 years later, we're beyond thrilled. But at the moment, I had Elliot, who was 5. Barrett was in a car seat. She couldn't walk when I found out I was 3 months pregnant with Kelsey. So, good times. Good, super fun times. But we're thrilled. So, I asked them to be here because Kelsey is about to go back to college, which
See ya.
very sad in our household. Barrett gets married. How many days, Bear?
How many days?
83.
Which will be here before we end
It's
this
tomorrow.
clip.
Yeah.
So I said, hey, why don't we just do this podcast? You know, I told you in our last one that on our Thanksgiving trip, everything was, it's the last time the 5 of us are going to do anything as a family. So this is the last time the 3 of us will be in this room like this, not married and not in college.
Yeah.
Well,
There you go.
I'm
Yeah.
positive.
it's
I'm
true.
looking on the positive side. But anyway, so they're not that much fun, but I said, hey, let's give it a go.
Have
so,
no personality whatsoever. Not fun. Not
Clearly.
funny.
Not
So,
at all.
We're just going to be in the background. Mom's going to do all the time.
They're Muppets, basically. So,
True.
hope you all had the best New Year, the best Christmas season. It was incredible. It was such a great time to just hit the pause button and watch movies. And to be honest, I still have my Christmas stuff up. I have a tree that has no ornaments on it.
Yes.
So
It's like
kudos.
it's just a symbol. It's just Christmas.
I'm just gonna
The
leave it
spirit
out.
is still here. We can't let it go.
So not like me, but it's gonna come down maybe before the next podcast. Let's pray. But I wanted to share really quickly that at the end of every year I start asking the Lord, what do you want my word to be for the next year? And I felt very clearly He said intentional. And I'm like, okay, so what is intentional? Intentional is done on purpose. And we all know that. And so I said, okay, the Lord wants me to be intentional this year. So I'm going to do things on purpose. So what does that mean? Like, Kelsey, you're going back to school. What does that mean for you?
Intentional, done on purpose, deliberate.
Like, you're going to call me on purpose.
Mhm.
You're going to be intentional about reaching
Come
out
home on purpose.
every weekend. Be intentional about coming home.
No, I just want to be intentional about my friendships and relationships. Make sure that my friends' values line up with my values, and just pursue them in the most intentional way I can.
Perfect. Bear, you don't have anything to be intentional about.
No,
Which
I'm
Barrett is
pretty good.
intentional constantly.
Yes.
This should not be your word for 2020.
Well, but there's a lot of like lasts for me. I know, like, you know, Kelsey will be back and she'll probably have another summer and, you know, Christmas and stuff. And not that I won't ever come home, but just like being intentional with my last few months here and just, you know, spending time with my grandparents and like sitting and watching Wheel of Fortune and not just kind of focusing on, oh, you know, I've got to get to bed, so I've got to get up early for work, and really taking time to just be in the moment and relax and just say there's time for sleep and there's time for work and this is family time. So.
Well, I didn't know I needed to bring my tissues, but
Oh, did you? That would.
well, thank you for that tear, but that's very good. I feel like we need to be intentional about, like I said in my last podcast, about being grateful. I know so many of you reached out and said, I've got a journal and I'm super excited about being intentional about being grateful, which is, it sounds kind of weird, but you have to purpose yourself to be grateful. So keep using those journals. I use mine daily, and it's been such a gift to me. So I'm intentional about that. Intentional about reading your Bible every day. I mean, everybody starts off gangbusters. I'm going to read the Bible in 2 weeks.
the whole Bible.
Yes, in 2 weeks. But being intentional about here, I listen to mine. I listen to it every morning, and being intentional about that. Even if you're listening to the Old Testament, He is still speaking, and I got something out of it today. So being intentional about that, and relationships and pursuing relationships is huge. So I know a lot of people have heard this quote: comparison is the thief of joy, which is so true. And I think social media has caused that to even be more prevalent. It's like we see everybody's Instagram, and it is the best of. I have the best husband, I have the best wife, I have the best children, I have the best everything. And then I believe the enemy sometimes is like, oh, really? So let's look at that. Let's examine that, when everything in your life does not look perfect at that moment. So I'm sure y'all have seen that, because are you aware of social media? Do y'all have Instagram?
I've heard of it.
Have you heard of Facebook?
I'm really big on MySpace.
Yeah, MySpace is where it's at.
True.
So
It's coming back.
No, I agree. Comparison is the thief of joy, and especially in today, like the amount of editing and like fakeness
Photoshop.
And non-genuine.
This is all edited. We don't even look anything like
This isn't even my face.
No,
I got
mine either.
So yeah, I think it's, I don't know, I really just have a strong opinion about Instagram especially, and just like how easy it is to get caught up in, you know, like Mom said, the best of everyone else's life, and that's not their reality. Like that, there's no way that their life is just always picture perfect, and sometimes we can see that and, you know, evaluate ourselves and be like, well, how can I be better like them in this aspect? And it's just like you just get caught up in it, and sometimes it's good to just take a break from it. And I completely agree with that statement, and it's crazy how we can just get caught up in that.
Well, even churches. I mean, I've seen myself just flip through, and you see Sunday is the worst. I'm like, John, whatever you do not get on any social media today, because every pastor had at least 386,000 people in attendance, and the offering was, you know, $48.8 million, and you're like, oh, we had 200, woohoo! I mean, and it's so wrong, because every church is different. Everybody's doing their own thing in their own lane. So, Barrett, what have you found?
The biggest struggle I have with that is like, I agree that people like to put the best things on social media, because that's just like human nature to say, here's what I bring to the table. You know, look at me and notice me. And I can like identify with that, and I can kind of sympathize with that in a way. But like what it causes me to do is I see that, and instead of saying like, oh, I'm not good enough, I like immediately try to pick out, well, that's fake, or they're a terrible person, or I know them in real life and they're not really that way. And I'm trying to train myself to be like, hey, that's awesome, period. Like that, you got a new car, you got a new house, like, congratulations, and you probably really deserve it. And I don't know the trenches you've been in, before that. And so
if we knew all, we could pardon all.
Dad says that if we knew all, we could pardon all, and that's one of my favorite things. But I don't know, like, it kind of bugs me when Christians especially get in that mindset where they're like, here's the best thing I have to offer. And it's like, well, no, God's the best thing you have to offer. Like, don't get it twisted, but, if you're blessed, you're blessed, but you don't have to let everybody know that you're blessed. I don't know. I have a lot of mixed feelings about it.
Yeah. I think, too, though, a lot of times when you see somebody got a new car or a new house or whatever, the enemy wants you to believe that that is the only car out there. That
Right.
God cannot do that for you because he gave them the last one.
Or that, like, I remember I would see people who, didn't struggle as hard as me, or like didn't pray as hard as me, and they would get blessed. And it was like, you start sacrificing your own relationship with the Lord, saying like, well, I've done so much. And it's like, you haven't done anything. Like, none of us have done anything compared to what the Lord has done for us. So it's like, we don't have any room to stand on any side, whether you've got the best of the best or you've got nothing. Like, we all basically have nothing.
Yeah.
So we're worms. Basically, we're all just worms.
We are.
We might as well be.
Okay, let's just end it right now, girls. No, but I think that's so good. Try to be intentional about, I truly believe taking a break from social media, taking a break from your phone. Your phone has become my worst nightmare a lot. It's like, I look around at restaurants when we go to restaurants, and there are people sitting across from each other. They're both on their phone, and I'm like, why are you here? You could be at Sonic right now.
Yeah.
But I maybe take a break. We're doing a 21-day fast at our church, and maybe take a break from social media.
Yeah.
Take a 21-day, and you're gonna come through. You're gonna be okay when you come on the other end of that.
Yeah.
But if you don't do that, and you are scrolling, try not to let comparison steal your joy. Try to be positive. Try to think, okay, that's huge. That's great. Whatever.
Every time you see something, you could just be like, Lord, thank you so much for blessing them. Thank you so much for giving them that. Like, I'm so excited for them, and I love that for them.
And especially for me, like, I am now trying to start my mornings, like, right when I wake up. It is so easy to just hop on Instagram and be like, well, this girl had a cup of tea and it was $500. That's amazing. But no, try to start your morning with like the verse of the day on like the Bible app, or just something other than
something positive.
Social media, because that can just get in your head and start your day off bad, and then you're into that mood of like, I don't have enough, like I'll never have what they have, just starts your day off wrong, I think. So be intentional about starting your day off with a Bible verse other than an Insta post.
And gratitude. Before you get out of bed, go over, thank the Lord for this,
Thank you, Lord, for waking me up.
Yes. He didn't have to do that. He gave you another day, so he's got a plan for your life. So let's be thankful for that. So homework. So be intentional this year. Doesn't have to be your word. You can still be intentional. Be intentional about relationships with God. How can that play out? Because you're still here. He's got a plan for your life. So let's be intentional about finding out what that plan is.
Amen.
And then executing that plan. Love people well. I mean, love people where they are. Like the girl said, John always says, if we knew all, we could pardon all. So if somebody cuts you off in traffic, you know what? They may be having a horrible day.
They have somewhere to be.
They have somewhere to be.
More important than you.
More than you.
They are. So just give it to them.
So let's be intentional. Let's be intentional about being grateful. Let's thank the Lord for every single thing, and I mean every single thing. And what else, girls? Let's not compare ourselves.
Yeah, don't compare. I mean, don't compare.
Don't compare, because you will despair.
T. That's the T.
That's the T.
And if you run out of things to pray about, you can pray for me, because I've got 2 weddings this year. Lots of changes going on in my life. I'll start crying right now, but I don't want to cry. So
2 weddings and me. So that's enough.
More than enough.
2
More
weddings
than
and
enough.
me. The
That's
new
gonna
Lifetime
be my new
movie.
book. That's gonna be a book.
Hallmark, make it.
So leave some comments if you want us to talk about something.
Tell
Be
us how funny we
intentional.
are.
Tell us how much you love us. Tell us how much you compare yourself to us. But thank you so much for watching, and cannot wait till the next episode.
Woo!
Bye.
We out.
You can subscribe to my channel. There's a bell at the bottom of this
Hit that
image.
post notification bell.
Hit that bell so you'll be notified when we